All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Simple tips to stay on track this holiday season. So I thought this would be a fun one just because it's such a common struggle, right? This is something that so many of us struggle with is really staying on track during the holiday season. We have the best of intentions and then the stress happens, the parties happen, and it can be really difficult. So I've got some fun tips for you. So what we're going to talk about, just some different tips to avoid weight gain. So I've got some lifestyle stuff, little tips that I use, as well as, of course, some essential oils that can help support you as well. But it's really about the whole lifestyle tonight. Okay. We'll talk about keeping stress under control, things you can do for that. I'm going to touch on some healthier swaps that you can use in your cooking and baking. So that will be good. Some hidden causes of weight gain that might not be on your radar. So lots of good, fun stuff to share. And then we'll talk about support at the end as well, since knowing it is one thing, and of course, following through can be a little bit more difficult. There is a chat box too, so hopefully you saw that I entered in there, but that's where you can find, and if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. If you're listening to the recording, feel free to email me anytime. I'd love to answer them. Okay, so who am I? I always like to start with this just in case you are new to one of my webinars. I'm Angie Jones. I'm a health coach and I'm a mom of these three. So these are my now 9-year-old triplets. And I sell doTERRA essential oils as well, and I teach people how to use them. So it's really this whole wellness package that has really changed my life. So a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, the lifestyle things tonight, eating healthier was the big thing, controlling stress, and of course how essential oils have changed too as we've worked in more natural solutions into our lifestyle. So this is my family, and this is really why I share what I do, because the changes that we've made have had such a profound impact. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing what I've learned along the way. So let's jump right in. So the first thing that I want you to do over the holiday season, actually every day, I do this all year long, is to start your day with water. We know that a lot of our cravings, a lot of our hunger, our low energy, a lot of that is just due to being slightly dehydrated or needing more water. So one great thing you can do is just start off your day, especially if you are a coffee or caffeinated tea drinker, because any caffeinated drinks are going to further dehydrate you. So you wake up, you're already a little dehydrated. The first thing you can do is start your day with water. Now, the picture that I'm showing here is actually the drink that I like to start every single day with, and I'll tell you why. And I do use the snowman mug all year long because it fits 2 cups of water. So I use that all year long. But what I do is I take 2 cups of warm water, and then I'll add in a tablespoon of the raw apple cider vinegar that you see there. So what I love about having this as a part of my diet every single day, and especially starting out with apple cider vinegar every day, is that it's supporting my cleansing organs. This is like a little tonic that's giving you, it's like flooding your system with enzymes that are going to help with your digestion, which is super key for weight management. It's going to help your immune system. It's just really supportive to all of your organs. It's also really alkalizing. So we think of apple cider vinegar, you think of vinegar, you think of acidic, right? But it's actually super alkaline, this is why that's so important. You want your body to function properly, have lots of energy. You want to be in a slightly alkaline state, right? That's where your body wants to be healthy. The problem is the majority of the foods that we tend to eat as Americans, I think coffee, processed foods, sugars, meat, dairy, all of those things are very acidic in the system. So starting your day with apple cider vinegar this great source of these, alkalizing enzymes, is a really good way to kind of create that balance in your system right away and help your body to hold on to its balance. So hopefully that makes sense. But this is really key to start with every single day. It just makes you feel better. You'll know after you try it after a week or so, your digestive system is going to be working better. I mean, you will notice the difference. So again, I like to start with 2 cups of warm water, a tablespoon of the apple cider vinegar. I always add a drop of lemon. So you see my lemon essential oil there. Always add a drop of doTERRA lemon because, again, the concentrated citrus is further supporting your body for its normal cleansing processes. So it's really boosting that. And then if you need to, definitely add a teaspoon of honey or a drop of stevia. But, until you get used to that apple cider vinegar, you might need some sweetener. Another note on the apple cider vinegar, I said I do a tablespoon a day. You can even start with a teaspoon and you're going to have noticeable results. So if you jump right to a tablespoon, it might be a little bit much on your digestive system right away. You might, have a little, a little heartburn, I've heard, some little digestive upset sometimes. It's really powerful stuff. So even starting with a teaspoon is great. So start with water. That is my first tip through the holiday season. That's one thing I want you to do. And then keep drinking water all day long. So again, we think holidays, we think low energy, right? It's dark really early. We have a million things on our to-do list. Our energy can really suffer. And drinking enough water is really key in feeling energetic. Really helpful for weight loss as well, because we know a lot of times when we're craving food, we think we're hungry, we need a little something, we're actually just kind of thirsty. And if we just drank some water, we'd be fine. So half your weight in ounces of water per day is what's really recommended. Most of us don't do that, especially when we're running around all day long, shopping and all the things in the holiday season. So just, that's a picture of a water bottle like what I use. And I just am in the habit of always taking that along with me. So it's in the car with me. And I just make sure I'm kind of sipping water all day long. Because especially I live in Minnesota, right? It's cold here. So it's hard to want to drink, cold water all the time. People tend to go to coffee drinks and things like that, which are further dehydrating. So you really have to be thoughtful in the winter, I think, to get enough water. It's easier in the summer when you're hot, right? So really be thoughtful about it. And you can even, when you're starting to be more mindful of drinking enough water, you can even kind of keep a little tally. How many bottles of water do you need to drink enough ounces per day, and kind of tally it up throughout your day to check in on yourself and making sure that you're getting enough, because it's going to make a big difference. If you are living in a cold state and you want to drink some tea or something warm, warm water with lemon is fantastic. Any kind of decaffeinated tea does count towards your kind of water intake throughout the day. So if you're drinking like a mint tea or something like that, that's really, that's decaffeinated and not dehydrating, then that can count as well. So I know I'm sitting here with my peppermint tea, hoping I don't knock it over on my computer. It's really full. So I'm kind of sitting here watching that, but I like to drink tea throughout the day too. So I'll do that as well. A couple things you can do, I have in the pictures, adding a drop of lemon or lime or grapefruit essential oil is fantastic, because it just makes your water a little bit more exciting, right? And that kind of gets us drinking some more. You can use fresh fruit as well, like the picture on the right. So lemons, limes, cucumbers, herbs, anything you like. Whatever it takes to get you drinking water, aside from adding, like a sugary packet or a Crystal Light packet with artificial sweeteners or something. Don't do those. But any of the fruit or the doTERRA essential oils or something like that, if you're just doing a drop at a time, those are great ways to get yourself drinking enough water. So that is my second tip. And this seems so simple. I get it. It seems so simple, but it's going to make a big difference. Kicking cravings. Okay. We want to reduce refined sugar. This is the biggest thing, because the thing about the holidays is you want to be able to indulge in your favorites, right? You want to be able to have, maybe next week you want a piece of the pumpkin pie or whatever it is that you really love. Or if it's a Christmas cookie that you really love, you want to be able to have that. And in my mind, that's okay. Once in a while, those things are okay. That's kind of living in balance and enjoying life. But at the same time, the problem is that's not typically all the sugar we're consuming in the day, because we're consuming so many hidden sugars that we have no idea. So when we know we're indulging in that little piece of pumpkin pie, we think that's all we're having. Problem is, we're eating so much more of the hidden sugars. That's why we're craving it all the time. So the best thing you can do to really get rid of cravings is to start reading every label. It's tough during the holidays, right? Because you're out, you're at parties, you don't know exactly what's in everything. So control what you can control in the next, 5-6 weeks. Control what you can. When you're at the grocery store, if you're going to buy a granola, like I have pictured there, read the ingredients, watch for those hidden sugars, and become mindful of, wow, maybe this is why I crave sugar all the time. I don't think I eat that much, but I probably do. And start to swap out those products. That's the biggest thing to get rid of cravings, because you will physically crave sugar the more you eat it. It's in your cells and you will physically crave it. Drinking water is going to help with that too. So you want to reduce what you can. You want to look for the hidden sugars and start swapping out your products. And then, like I just talked about with water, a lot of times when we're craving sugar, if we just drink some water and distract ourselves, we'll be fine. So that's something that you can do too. Walk away from the cookie tray. Don't hang out by the food at the party. Those things are all helpful too. And then this is my favorite essential oil that helps so much. It really, really does. This is the Slim and Sassy Metabolic Blend. And this stuff's amazing. So what I love Slim and Sassy for is really for times like the holidays when maybe we are indulging a little bit more. So we're not completely taking sugar off the table in our diets, and we're having some. The problem is, like I said, every time you eat a little bit of sugar, it's like it's feeding those cells, and you're going to crave more and crave more and crave more. So something like Slim and Sassy comes in really, really handy for those true physical cravings. And even if you're not eating a lot of sugar, you will naturally crave sugar for different reasons, right? Emotional stress. When you're tired, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Hormonally, right? Different times of the month, we can start craving more sugar, and that's just natural stuff that happens. And unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do to control it, except for things like when we look to tools like essential oils. So this blend has cinnamon, which is amazing for blood sugar, supporting a healthy blood sugar. It has lemon and grapefruit, which are both very cleansing. So I talked about lemon a little bit, but grapefruit's another one that's very cleansing and it really helps to break down fats. Okay. And then you have ginger and peppermint, and those are both really supportive to your digestion. So you have all of those oils put together in this blend, and that's why it's so powerful, because you're getting all of those benefits. So how I like to use Slim and Sassy to really tackle those cravings that just won't go away by just drinking some water, the ones that you just can't get that out of your mind, is put some in a glass of water. So I like to use a drop in a glass of water in the afternoon, a time when I typically get, maybe tired or stressed or bored, and I'll, start reaching for food. almost subconsciously, drink water with Slim and Sassy. It'll completely keep you from doing that. Another thing you can do is just even put a drop under your tongue. It will wipe out the sugar craving so fast you won't believe it. So those are a couple really good ways. So you can use it as needed, when you're really being bothered, but you can just put a drop in your water every afternoon, or maybe every evening after dinner, or maybe at a party, wherever it is that you are going to be triggered to go after the food that you're trying to stay away from. Okay, when you're really trying to stay away from that sugar or that salty snack or whatever it is that is going to force you away from your goals, use Slim and Sassy. That's my favorite. A couple other ones that I love are cinnamon and grapefruit. So yes, they are in this blend, but they are fantastic oils to use on their own as well to really support the cravings and getting rid of those cravings. Okay, my next one is exercise, moving your body. And I know you're thinking, not during the holidays, right? We're so busy, but honestly, fit in just a little bit. This is the best way to feel good. So if you really want to feel good, feel healthy, move your body, find something to do. It will change your emotional state really quickly. If you need motivation, if you need energy, maybe your only time to do it is at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's dark out and you need that, or even 5:30 p.m. it's dark out and you need that extra motivation and energy, use peppermint. I love to put a drop in my hands and breathe it in. I'll put a drop on my temples. It's like this instant energy boost. It's amazing. So that's one thing that I will do right away in the morning because it wakes me up and kind of gets me motivated to keep going. So a couple notes on exercise. So yes, it's important. Yes, it's going to help with your stress level, with your emotional state during the holidays, but we are really busy. So I want to talk about, exercise is not kind of the only solution that you have. You cannot, if you can't fit in the exercise, just know that, or even if you can fit in the exercise, I should say, you have to understand that you can't out-exercise a bad diet. It is just not this calories in, calories out exact science. It just doesn't work that way, right? It's more complicated than that. There's hormones and lots of other things at play. And we tend to overestimate our calorie burn when we're exercising and underestimate what we eat. So that kind of, makes the situation even worse. What a lot of us will do, and I have been guilty of this too, it is, absolutely, you think, oh, I worked out today. I should be able to have an extra, whatever it is, or I should be able to have this treat tonight. But the fact is, that's not the way it works. You will only see success if you both forego the treat and exercise. You cannot out-exercise that food. It just doesn't work that way. Unless you're, an ultra marathoner or something and doing an immense amount of exercise. But you just can't out-exercise a bad diet. It just doesn't work. So if you really can't fit in time to be moving, even, going for a walk with your dog, if you really can't fit in everything, know that if you really want to stay on track during the holidays, you really have to be on point with your diet and really try to be pretty diligent, about not indulging too much. When it comes to, should I get up at 5 a.m. and get my workout in if I went to bed at midnight? Here's my opinion from looking at a lot of the research. It is actually better to sleep because exercise is stress on the body, right? And lack of sleep is stress on the body. So you don't want to kind of further stress out your body like that and get your hormones out of whack by so much stress. It's actually going to be better for you to get your sleep. So I'll talk about the importance of sleep in just a second. But if you're deciding between getting a reasonable amount of sleep, or, getting up super early to get a workout in, I'd probably just do the sleep, honestly. Okay, you still with me? Hopefully this is making sense and this is helpful. So exercise is important. Try to fit it in if you can. Now, I do want to talk about sleep a little bit. And I know what you're thinking. It's really hard to prioritize sleep when my to-do list is really long during the holidays. But here's the thing, if your goal is to avoid weight gain, if your goal is to be healthier, you have to prioritize sleep. And here's why. When we're tired, our hunger and our fullness hormones get all out of whack, and we will crave more food. You crave more carbs and sugary foods, especially because your body knows that those are quick sources of energy. And of course, those are the worst foods for your waistline, right? So it's this kind of icky cycle. We think we're going to stay up late and get this stuff done and check these things off our list, and then the next day we're just kind of a mess. We're craving food, we're low energy, your decision making is suffering. So it's really not worth it. It's really better to try to prioritize sleep. So even when it's difficult with all the things we have going on in the holidays, it's going to make a difference if your goal is maintaining your weight, losing weight, feeling healthy. Really prioritize your sleep. If you have a hard time, settling down, sleeping soundly when you have so many things running through your mind, use essential oils. They work so well. A couple of my favorites are lavender and serenity. So serenity is the restful blend. It has lavender in it, but it also has a few other really supportive essential oils like Roman chamomile and vetiver. What else is in there? Just a few others that are really well known for their ability to calm the body. So don't underestimate how essential oils can help you. Okay, you can put them on the bottoms of your feet, put a drop on the bottoms of your feet before you sleep. You can diffuse in your bedroom. You can put a drop on your pillow. There's a lot of different ways to use them, but if you use these consistently and make this part of your routine, you will sleep more soundly. You'll be able to sleep better, throughout the night instead of waking up. It really, really helps. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about lifestyle stuff before I get back to some fun food related tips and things for you. So stress less. Kind of makes you laugh, right? Like I'm going to stress less during the busiest time of the year, but it's possible. And here's why I want you to do it. When you're stressed, you're releasing cortisol all the time. You're on high alert. This absolutely has an effect on your energy. It absolutely affects your waistline. It affects your health in general. All of your hormonal systems are interrelated. And if you've got this cortisol pumping through your system, it's messing everything up. And you will absolutely notice it in your health and likely in your waistline as well. Stress is really, really tough on your body. If you want to feel good, you really just need to figure out a way to control it. So here's a few things that I love to do, especially during the holidays when there's so much going on. Make lists. I don't know if you're like me and you're a list maker, but once it's out of my head and on a piece of paper, it's like it frees up that mental space, and it just looks, and lists can be overwhelming too once you see it on paper, but it really, really helps me just to get it out of my head. And that's going to help with your sleep too. So my other tip is keep a notebook by your bed. Even if you're not turning on the light in the middle of the night, if you're one of those people that wakes up in the middle of the night with all kinds of stuff going through your head, writing it down and, just scratching it in your notebook without even turning on the light, it's like, okay, I got it. Something in your consciousness, it's like, right, okay, got that down, I can let it go and I can go back to sleep. So that's really helpful too. Another thing I really like about writing it all down is that then you can prioritize it, you can delegate things, kind of gets it out of your head, and you can delegate it to someone else in your family or something, and it can become someone else's problem. Someone else can help you out to do that so you're not feeling so stressed. And then just the reminder that if it's really important, it's going to get done. It always does. So let's not worry about it. It's going to work out. It always does. Use your essential oils. So I have these three big essential oils on the screen because these are three of my favorites. Um, I have a couple others that I like too, but when we're really stressed, I know my tendency is just to sit in it for a while, kind of sit and stew about it and worry about it and, kind of sit there for a minute. And then what I really try to catch myself doing that earlier on, it's like, no, I have tools. I have essential oils that will literally change my body's chemistry. So the quicker you can use your tools, use your essential oils, the quicker you're going to feel in control and move on and actually start doing some of this stuff instead of sitting and stewing about it. Um, use these regularly, you will absolutely get relief. I have lavender and frankincense up here. These are two that are in, just about every kind of starter kit. They're in my top 10. If you're following me on Facebook, you'll know I've been doing the top 10 video series explaining each of my must have 10 essential oils, and lavender and frankincense are in there. So that's why I have these two up there. These are really powerful oils for calming the body. Okay, so those are two to start with. I like to use those two together when it comes to stress. And then the third one, the Balance Grounding Blend, this is my go-to. So I have this blend. It's my absolute go-to. Love to put this on the bottoms of my feet right away in the morning. So being really proactive about anticipating the stress that's coming and then using it throughout the day as needed as well. Here are a couple of my little blends that I've made for myself with a few of my favorite oils. So putting these on my wrists, the back of my neck as needed, it is amazing when you are feeling, that tightness in your chest, your stomach starting to, kind of flip, and you use these oils and you move on with something else, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, I feel better. It's amazing how quickly they can work. It really is. So those are a couple blends that I love. So those are a few lifestyle things. Now I want to get back into more of the food stuff and just the kind of practical stuff you can do too. More practical stuff, I guess. One is I say watch the wine because I think this is a big thing for a lot of people, especially during the holidays, because there's so many opportunities for whether it's wine or a signature drink at a party or whatever it is. There's a lot of alcohol, and that is part of a lot of people's celebrations, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. But you do want to be mindful of what it's doing in your body, especially if weight maintenance or weight loss is a goal. Alcohol, especially, wine and things like that, it's sugar. It's sugar in the body. So why did I start out tonight talking about, kicking cravings and getting rid of sugar? It's because sugar is really the problem with inflammation in your body. It's a drain on your energy, and it is likely the source of the weight gain that we all struggle with, right? From time to time. And it's not, there's so many online guides and little articles and things about, which is the cocktail with the most calories. And we all know a pina colada is like this, full of calories or whatever. And that's fine. That's true. But what I want you to really understand is what alcohol is doing in your body, how it's being metabolized, and why it doesn't really matter what the calorie count is as much. Um, anytime that you're drinking alcohol, it's messing with your metabolism. What's happening is that your liver and your other organs, they are going to go to work right away on that alcohol, and they are not going to start dealing with any of the other food you ate, whether it be a, a decent meal or if it was, really heavy holiday foods and, more sugars and fats and things than you're used to. All of that is not all of it, but a good chunk of that's likely just going to be stored as fat because your body's going to work on the alcohol. So yes, it's full of calories, but the problem is what it's messing up in your system. So those foods that you were eating may not have been that big of a deal until you added in the alcohol, and now it's kind of messing with everything. So just my, I guess, tip on this is just to be mindful of it. Be mindful that it's disrupting your system. And when you choose to indulge, just be aware of it. I just don't want you to just think of the calorie count or something like that when you're thinking about alcohol. Just be aware of it and choose mindfully. And when you really want it, just know that you're making that choice so that it's a knowledgeable choice. Okay. Healthier swaps. So my daughter, that's a cute picture I think that was last Thanksgiving. But what I want to talk about here, this is one of my favorite topics because this is one of my favorite things to do in my own family, is to make yummy things a little healthier. This is taking favorite family recipes, just making healthier swaps so that you can still be indulging, but you're doing it in even healthier way. So the picture I have on the left is like a healthier peanut butter cup that my daughter and I made. That was really fun. And then, on the right, of course, we have the vegetable turkey, and then we have a dessert, but it's, made with healthier options, healthier ingredients. So here are a couple of the swaps that you can think about when you're cooking and baking for the season. Of course, cutting the refined sugar. We started out right away with that. So what a couple swaps that I really like, using coconut sugar in place of the white refined sugar. So coconut sugar is a little bit easier on your blood sugar. You're not going to have quite the spike that you do with regular white sugar. You can use, so that's my favorite kind of one-to-one swap in like a baking recipe, for instance. I'll just use coconut sugar instead. I also like to use like maple syrup instead. I use a lot of dates and things like that instead of using the white refined sugar. So it's still sugar in your body. You still need to be very mindful of it, but it's coming with some other good stuff too. So it's not going to spike your blood sugar and cause quite the insulin response that regular refined sugar would, which is a problem because insulin is a hormone that does tell your body to store fat. So every time you're spiking your insulin throughout the day and you get more floating around, obviously we know that leads to a lot of issues in the body. And one of them is it's telling your body to store fat. So the less high sugar foods we can do, the better. But we can still have treats, right? A little bit healthier. Another swap that I like to make is to always cut out all-purpose flour. So it's really not something that I use at all. My go-to is a whole wheat pastry flour. It's a little bit of a finer texture than a regular whole wheat flour, whole wheat pastry flour. That's my go-to in cookies and things like that. There's a lot of great gluten-free options too, if that's your thing. Almond flour, coconut flour, oat flours. There are tons of good recipes online. I have a couple cookie recipes I know on my website. There's lots of good stuff. But swapping out the flour and sugar is going to make a huge difference in kind of your body's blood sugar response, because flour and sugar are two of the worst things. Swapping the oil you use, that's also a really good idea. Use instead of using like a canola oil, using coconut oil or another, more of a heart healthy oil. I know there's been a lot in the news lately about coconut oil, but it's still so much better than canola oil. Canola oil is just extremely processed. It's not a great choice. So I like to use melted coconut oil for a lot of my baking recipes. If it's a lower baking, like under 350, olive oil you can even use. So you kind of need to play with some of the recipes, make sure the flavors aren't too strong, but definitely swap out your oils. I even like swapping out any of the artificial colors with a natural food color. Any of that artificial stuff, it's just think of it as it's always disrupting your hormones. It is disrupting your system. Your body does not know how to deal with all this artificial stuff. It's not good. Right? So anything you can do to make it more natural is better. So natural dyes, I know they have them on Amazon. I get them at my co-op. You could get them at Whole Foods, but using a natural dye is a good idea too. Making healthier versions of the foods you love. Look online for recipes. There's so many great ones out there. Just the other day I saw a recipe for a raw pumpkin bar. It looked so good. It used dates and cashews and maple syrup. So you're going to get all the flavor without all of the sugar and flour. So there's tons of good stuff out there. Ask me if you're looking for something. Because like I said, this is an area I'm really, really passionate about. I love helping people make their favorite recipes healthier. So definitely feel free to send me an email or post on my Facebook page or my Facebook group. And I would love to help you with that. Other healthy swaps, of course, I have the turkey there made out of vegetables. My kids and I like to make one of those every year. Um, just be mindful, right? If there's a dip that you love, some favorite dip that you love, using a vegetable instead of a chip is just a great choice, right? That's one teeny little easy thing you can do. Still enjoy maybe a really indulgent dip, but use a vegetable and it's going to save you on all of that from the chips. So when you're trying to stay healthier, you're trying to stay on track, all those little choices absolutely add up. Every choice, I this is one thing I often tell clients, every single choice is either pushing you closer to your goals or further away from your goals. Nothing is completely neutral. So when you're making a decision on what you're going to put on your plate, it's just being mindful. And if you're choosing to indulge in something that's going to take you further away from your goals, that's fine because you know you're going to do it. You're being mindful of it. But just know every decision is going to bring you one way or the other, not going to be neutral. Okay, plan for indulgences. So this is a picture of cookies that are clearly not using natural food colors because you cannot get red with a natural food color. That's the only bummer. But anyway, they look cute though. Um, if it is your thing, if you are going to Thanksgiving, you're going to, if you celebrate Christmas, and that's, clearly I do, um, as I'm showing Christmas cookies. If Christmas cookies are your thing, just plan for it and enjoy it and plan for those indulgences, but don't, go all out at every meal. So what I like to do when I know that, I'm going to a party or a dinner and there's going to be heavier foods there that I'm going to want to indulge in, the rest of my day is just lighter. It's based on vegetables and lean, good proteins. I'm not saving myself. So when I say plan for indulgences, that does not mean don't eat. I think that's the worst thing you can do because it backfires every single time because you get over hungry. It just means be mindful of what you're eating and eat really good stuff the rest of the day. And for me, that means typically lots of vegetables and lean proteins because usually the foods I'm going to want to indulge in are pretty carb heavy and heavier in fats and things like that. Most holiday foods just are. So if you know that that's what you're going to be indulging in, just plan for it. And then it's really you're providing that balance for your body, and it's not that big of a deal. Get a workout in if you can, and you'll be fine. And then enjoy. This is my last one. I think it's my last one. Um, just don't stress about everything. If it didn't go as planned, that's okay. Don't stress about it. If you remember the slide on stress that we talked about, stress actually makes the situation worse. So if you are going to eat something, miss a workout, get 4 hours of sleep, whatever it is, and then get all stressed about it, it's going to make the situation worse. So really strive to, be mindful. That's my biggest message. Be very mindful of what you're doing. Be knowledgeable. So I hope I shared a lot of good stuff with you that, brings some awareness, so you can be knowledgeable about these things, and then just make choices based on that knowledge and enjoy it. That's the big thing. So you have all the information now. We talked about water, we talked about removing hidden sugars and what you can do about cravings, um, and how to do that. We can't rely on our willpower, because our willpower will fail us just about every time. Um, we talked about the importance of exercise and sleep, how to prioritize exercise and sleep when you're low on time, stress. And then we talked a bit about, the alcohol, what that does to your body. We talked about food swaps. So lots of stuff, threw a lot of information at you, kind of high level information with a few other little tips thrown in that I hope are very actionable, like the morning drink. I hope you can start every day with that. So you have a lot of information. But information is only that, right? If we don't take action. And if you feel like you need accountability, you need support, you have questions that are going to come up, join my Facebook group. So it is called For the Love of Essential Oils, because I love essential oils. But more than just that, and especially through the holiday season, I'm going to be sharing a lot of healthy tips to really keep each other on track, because we all need that support. We all need that accountability. So absolutely, find that group on Facebook and join it. Know that you can always reach out to me. Tag me in there at any time, or you can hit reply to the email that you'll get with this recording and ask me questions. And, I'll support you if you have a question, but ideally just go to the Facebook group. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Your replay will be on its way, and reach out with any questions. So I hope you have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon.